Hi, I'm Brian with Here's How from Guitar Center. Today I'm going to talk about how to make the most out of your practice routine. So what I want to use as the example today is practicing scales. So let's say that we're in the key of A major and we're practicing our A major scale. Here's how it sounds regularly. Now it's totally fine to practice your scales like that. When you're learning, it's a great way because you understand how each note relates to the next in a linear fashion. But one thing that I've realized is the way you practice tends to extend into the way you play. So if you want, when you're improvising and soloing, if you want to be creative and have flexibility and use a lot more movement in your soloing, you should work on practicing that. Otherwise, it's not going to happen when you're actually taking solos. So there's a few techniques to do that. I'm going to use the metronome to help demonstrate that. So like we just did, I was playing in eighth notes. Here it is one more time. So one thing I can do to break this scale up differently, instead of playing linear up and down, I can play in thirds. Here's how that sounds. Another thing I can do is play in triads. Here's how this sounds. And those are a couple things that I'm doing in terms of playing the lines differently, but I can also play around with the rhythm. So as opposed to eighth notes, I can play it in 16th notes. I can also play it in different kind of triplets. So here would be quarter note triplets. Here would be eighth note triplets. Now if I want to take this one step further and really challenge myself, I can start to combine a lot of these different techniques into going up and down the scale. So here I'm going to start in thirds and then work my way into the triplets, or work my way into the triads. Here we go. So what I did right there is I started off going up in thirds, then I worked my way into triads, and then I just continued going up the scale in a linear way like we were starting. Let me do the same thing this time, except I'll be starting with the triads. So that time, I started with the triads, went into thirds, and then I started going back in a linear way, back down, descending in the scale, except playing in 16th notes. So what you can see what I'm doing here is finding a bunch of different ways to challenge myself and randomly putting them in as I'm practicing the scale so that my mind is always working. And these are the same techniques you're going to use when you're improvising. So if you use it when you're practicing, it's going to be a lot easier when you start to play live. Thanks for watching. I'm Brian with Guitar Center, and that's how to improve your practice routine. If you want to check out any more Here's How videos, check out the Guitar Center YouTube channel or guitarcenter.com.